What is happening, Facebook fam? We are back for the fourth day of lives, and today we want to talk to you about member results inside the flavor room. So open up those log holes and get ready to hear about what's really going on, because this ain't no wishy-washy, fluffy crap. These are real results, so you're gonna want to listen in. Sutton, 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 where you at, girl?
I'm over here just laughing because I don't know what a log hole is, but that is hilarious. So
Is
this, oh, your ears. Okay. Member results inside the flavor room. This is so important because we are inundated all the time on socials with everybody talking about everything, screenshots, and kind of just this wishy-washy stuff. I felt great. It was so fun. Wow. Um, where I come from, those are not results. That's fluff. But you do you. So we're going to do us over here. We're going to get into real member results from real people. I actually have a post, I think it was either from today or yesterday, that kind of piggybacks off of this. The members are tagged in the post, so you can go see for yourself that these are real people. There is no cap. So let's get into it. You want to start off with Marge, Lace?
yes, I absolutely can. So, our wonderful, one of our founding members, Marge, was tired of the trad networking experiences where connection was just going to the void. Now, I know you know what the void is, and I know that you've been there. You know, where the coffee chats lead to nothing unless it's an immediate sale. It's just a pitch fest. It's not really to get to know each other or any of that stuff. It's just, I want to sell to you, buy my shit. And she joined TFR because she saw genuine community and movement in action. Like, hello, it's not happening anywhere else. She saw this in us. And since joining the Flavor Room, she is now recognized as a leader in our community. And as a result, she is making big, bold moves, her words, not mine. And she's just landed a referral deal with the new Flavorworks digital agency. Mhm.
Reading that, I'm just like, wow, who is this person? Just hearing those words, it's kind of like an outer body experience. Like this is happening in the flavor room, you know, and it absolutely is.
This
When is the
is.
last time any of you have heard results like that? Usually it's just the generic, they made $10,000 and, they didn't have to lift a finger and they 10x their results and they felt really happy and, there was cotton candy and rainbows. That's all that you hear. And there's no way to know whether any of that is true, right? But here we are talking about tangible outcomes. We are not talking about pie in the sky and unicorns. These are not unicorns either. And these are not results we're sharing here that are not unachievable for everyone. They are totally achievable. They're not overhyped. They're simple, but they're impactful, right? And so that's how you can know if, you're scratching your head, like, is this even real? It is. That's how you can know it's real because it's simple and it's impactful. It's real. These are totally relatable things, going from being tired of going to those networking things and endless coffee chats to, what, I'm in a space where I'm seen as a leader. I'm valued. And because of feeling valued, now she's out here making bold moves, right? There was a disconnect between, okay, I'm just showing up doing the thing, but I'm not being recognized. Being in a space where you are recognized makes a huge difference in how you show up and how you feel about yourself. So that's just something to think about if you are still spinning your wheels and being in spaces and places that you are just a number, that you are just a profile. No one knows your name. They just know when that Stripe notification goes off and everybody's just doing ring around the rosy and Zoom. So let's move on to Una. This one I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. So Una was struggling with perfectionism, right? Wanting everything to be perfect. And this created a lot of self-doubt and, feelings of unworthiness. And she was really avoiding community. And I know I can relate to that. How about you, Lace?
Yeah, and I totally get why you would be avoiding it, especially now. where it's all
Why is
about
that?
empowerment and women all together and blah blah, yet they're all bitching and tearing each other down and carrying on behind the scenes. Like that. I wouldn't want to be part of that neither.
Yeah, and so she was just going it alone, right? But what happens when you go it alone for too long? That weighs on you, especially with something like entrepreneurship. So after joining the Flavor Room, she has learned to surrender control and lead into community. And leading into community where once again she feels valued, right? She feels that her skills and what she brings to the table are important. That has allowed her to get in touch again with her creativity. And doing that was exactly what the Flavor Room needed. And this has propelled her to create her very own twice monthly event inside of the Flavor Room called Momentum, which was just facilitated earlier this week, the first one, and it was absolutely fabulous. And Una will also be doing these in person. So, I mean, that's a huge result going from I'm going to just be by myself, but I'm still kind of, struggling on being perfect to I'm leaning into my creativity, regardless of whether or not it's perfect. I'm just going to do it. And something about creating momentum was that it all happened fast. We presented the idea to her, and what was it? Maybe like 72 hours.
If that,
It
yeah,
was rolling.
it was
Yeah, it was
quick.
rolling. And the feedback from momentum has just been incredible.
Oh,
Yeah, and how she has just assumed that role and stepped into her own leadership.
that's
Anyone who
true.
is listening, name another space where they're going to see you for who you are, call you forward, and say, hey, why don't you put this together?
Mhm.
Because we trust you. We see the value that you bring, and we want you to shine. Who's going to do that for you? I'll wait because it's
Be a
not
long.
out there. It'll be a long wait. It'll be a pile of bones before anybody comes back with something because it doesn't exist. As we've said before, it is all about the self. Okay, and I don't care if people are listening to this and y'all feel uncomfortable. Roll your eyes if you want to, but you know it's true. These spaces are created for self, i.e., the person creating them, so they can get their ego stroke, get their rocks off, and everyone else can bask in their energy for $500 a month or whatever it is.
That's
But this
truth.
is not that. This is not that. The reason why they cannot allow you the space to rise, because that would take attention away from them. And that means you'd be competing with them as far as selling your stuff. You know what we told Una? Sell. Offer your stuff, offer your services on the back end of this event.
Mhm.
We encouraged her to do so. Everyone else, oh, well, you got to pay an extra fee. You got to do this. We have to approve it. Doesn't meet community standards. No, we're not doing that because we're not threatened.
No.
We're not
Mm.
sitting over here in our little fragile, fake little performative shells and afraid and threatened to let people rise. We want that because that's what leaders do. When you call your people forward to rise, that makes you better as a leader. And that's what it's about. Can we take
Absolutely.
Jessica?
Yes. So next up is our Jessica. Now, this lady is a former attorney turned health coach who found the busy mum market and pivoting who worked in the busy mum market, and she pivoted into her own journey after surviving domestic violence and is now coaching other female survivors. And since joining TFR, she found that she could coach authentically whilst receiving support herself and not feeling like a fraud. Now, this is huge. Okay, because a lot of us are out there running around thinking we have to be perfect before we can get out there and do whatever it is that we want to do. And well, there is no such thing as perfect. It's all perfectly imperfect. So you best just carry on, otherwise you can stay right where you are and you ain't going nowhere in a hurry. So she found that with our support, she can go out there, do what she needs to do, and get support herself without feeling that imposter syndrome. Now that is big. So it was our community's non-judgmental approach that has allowed her to show up more authentically in her business, and she is slaying it.
She really is. And I want to comment on something Jessica shared in the Flavor Room chat. And that was how much she enjoyed the playfulness, right? The sharing of gifts, people having
Yes.
a good time being themselves, letting their hair down, because she said she's been in spaces where that is not allowed. Being yourself is not allowed.
Mhm.
So why start a business just to be confined by someone else's rules and someone else's expectations? And this is another way that we are changing the game. Hence the name, the Flavor Room. Bring your flavor, all of it, not parts of it, right? Bring all of it and be who you are, because that is what is going to transform your business.
That's the truth. That's the truth. So last up, and this is not everyone. If we sat here and talked about everyone, we'd be here all day. So we've just skimmed some off the top. So we're gonna talk about a man. Wow. Because most of these spaces, it's all women. And men are left out. Like there is no place for men unless it's like the odds men's circle or the alpha male empowerment coaching program or whatever. But no, we love men. We invite men. We have two. We're very proud of them. So I'm going to talk to you about one of them now, and that's Kwesi. Kwesi he's an OG. He's one of my past clients, funnily enough as well. He's also very close to Sutton, and he is a very, very accomplished entrepreneur. Proper low key, but man is tearing it up out there. And he always felt the need, despite this, to prove himself and to keep up with everyone else. But since joining the Flavor Room, he has been validated as a leader and held accountable for excellence. He successfulully hosted his major annual event where old clients became new clients once again, so refreshed, all because of an invitation that he made. And TFR members were sponsors. So they didn't have to go out there and be looking and digging and vetting people. He already had a community of people that he knew were going to come and deliver results. And he filled those spaces within, I think, about 20 minutes of putting that post into our communities. That was beautiful. And seeing the results of his involvement in the Flavor Room, he's also one of our founding members, he was inspired to seek out more impact and opportunity, which resulted in him joining Team Flavor Room as our Chief Global Growth Officer. Yes, we've already got one. We're only 4 months old, and look at that. So my man is flying, flying.
I mean, you said it all. I don't really have anything else to say, you know? And it's just crazy because where you're going to go, where you are going to be so inspired, where you have a fire lit on your behind, where you want to say, hey, how can I be a part of this? You know, where you're seeing your impact and you're like, you know what, there's more that I can give. And where you feel that it's safe to do so. Instead of, again, feeling like somebody's being threatened, that their little empire, you know, is going to crumble. No, collectively, we're building empire together. So we're super excited to, have not one, but two team members on Team TFR that is just going to take us to the next level. Yeah, where everyone wins. Not me, not Lace, all of us. As we've been saying for the past 4 days, everything that we do, everything that we create, everything that we put out is not about us. And you will not find any other corner in the internet or anywhere else where that is the case. Because there are so many out there now who they're almost like politicians coming online, giving you, the sweet words, open up your, right? And delivering crumbs, if that.
More like crap.
Yeah. In fact, I told you this privately, I have invested quite a bit over my journey. And there is a very, very short list. I can count on one hand how many people I would recommend that I've worked with.
That's very, very small.
Very, very small. I have 5 fingers on my hand.
Even if you had an extra one, that's still small. So
Yeah,
wow. And what says it all really, doesn't it?
it says it all. There's so much more we could say here, but this is focused on results. So we've presented that. And I think we can just wrap it up here.
Okay. Well, if you have listened or you're listening back on the replay, drop a hashtag replay and let us know. We want to know if this is hitting, if this is resonating. If you see yourself in this and you're like, yeah, but I ain't trying to say nothing, that's also fine. Go and check out the Flavor Room brand new sexy ass website, which is in the comments. And then you can see our tiers. You can learn a little bit more about what we're all about. And if you're sitting there thinking, hey, I want to get involved, I want to be part of this flavor, I want to bring mine, and get my influencing, the only way to get in is through a Flavor Fit call. That is literally the key to the door. So book yours. Again, link is in the comments. Book it, come and talk to us, and let's see if we're about to roll forward together. And we will see you again tomorrow.
Peace.